out of Bowie with multiple structures damaged in several areas. Well Service Road and to the east of Well Service Road, as well as in Millsap, firefighters reported damage to a structure just north of town there in Parker County. So that was from some of these storms earlier, also reporting some damage. It looks like we have a new warning now issued. Okay, it has been extended into Cook County, so that is for radar indication. This the circulation located about 15 miles west of Sanger, and it's moving northeast at 50, half-dollar size tail, and that radar indicated rotation.
Yeah, it's really where all the counties meet here. So Wise County.
So what's up, guys? Tobin and Shannon here, 5M Family Homestead channel. So the footage that we just showed you guys was from earlier this evening. We're going to break that down for you and then kind of go over what we do to prepare for tornado season here in Texas. But before we get in the video, do us a big favor. Go down, if you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're on Facebook, do what?
Follow and like us.
We have to say that now because we get a lot. We actually get more views on Facebook now than we do on YouTube. So we have to remind the Facebook people to show the love. Mm-hmm. So this evening, I was actually driving home from work, and you were picking the kids up from school. Knew that there was weather moving in, and tell them how it played out.
Well, a lot of times they overhype the weather.
For sure.
So it's kind of hard to tell if it was going to be for sure. Because we were supposed to get rain all day today. And we got pockets here and there. It did not rain all day. And then around 3, the sun started to try to come out. And that's when it always gets dicey.
Well, it's funny. If you're from the South,
yes,
you know that when there's storms moving in, it gets hot during the day. You know that.
And the sun pops out.
That's a bad sign.
So we got everyone home safely, and then around 4:30, I guess, the dry line out to the west of us almost immediately spawned a tornado. I mean, it was like as soon as it built,
yeah.
It spawned a tornado that went about probably 60 miles southwest of us, and that storm was a little bit, it had a line that was a little bit south of it. We were like, is it gonna move this way? But the northern storm passed through that town, went through another town, spawned another tornado that was probably not even 30 miles from us.
Yeah.
And it was still just dicey of where the storm was gonna go. Was it gonna move to the northeast, kind of get us, or was it gonna stay on its track a little bit further north? So literally, which is coming to what we do, is we last 2 years ago, we installed a old school antenna. We turned on the news and we started watching the news.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it's, it seems like the weather apps that we use, I don't know. I assume they get bombarded with people, you know, when there's bad weather, and they tend to freeze up and lock up. So yeah.
Well, I mean, at 4:30, when there was 0 storms around us, I mean, like that one was, like I said, 60 miles of west of us, not even close to us. My mom, who lives 3 miles from us, was getting alerts from the Weather Channel that we were under tornado warning, and it was blue skies. There was nothing around us.
Yeah, it was 2 counties away from us.
Yeah. So anyways,
so we turned the TV on. You were saying.
Yeah, and because we didn't buy the antenna for the weather though. We do now, thankfully. It was because we couldn't get the World Series to play. So
yeah,
but it now becomes to our benefit because we now can turn it on to the local news stations and watch it real time. We don't have to get on our phones. Yeah. Because the other issue we have is when we do have storms, we don't have the best cell phone service, so sometimes our service tends to bog down, and we potentially could also lose our Wi-Fi. So we have that to watch, and we just watched it.
And about that, and then about that time, we were going out on the front porch when I was shooting the video, and then out on the back porch, and then the neighbor next to us yelled over. And we have a storm shelter right outside our back door. She does not. So, and they're always welcome to come over. They came over before and gotten there with us a few times.
Our 5 and her 3. So there's 8 of us and our 2 dogs.
And so she made her way over before it started really pouring down rain. And she sat over here with us and watched it. And it was, I mean, it was, you know, 1 or 2 minutes. If things would have changed, we'd have probably got down in there. We didn't. Like Shanna said, the storms kind of skirted to the west of us and just barely missed us, but was dropping tornadoes and
unbelievable.
Multiple towns, damage. Looked like we kind of quit watching it. We'll probably maybe watch it again tonight, like at 10 o'clock news, to see by that time they should have a better handle on the damage. Where the high school got damaged, there was like the trees around it had no leaves on them. It looked like that tornado dropped down right on top of that high school.
Yeah, it looked like maybe tree trimmers came out there and just like leveled the trees. Yeah. And then there was a town that one of the trades days that we go to, they said they were in search and rescue. There was houses just flattened and leveled, which that's like less than, 30 miles north of us. I mean, it's not far. There was a hedge of protection around us because it should have, the way that they were coming up, and that wasn't the same tornado. There was like different tornadoes popping up in the same storm system. Yeah. And I think at this point, I looked a minute ago, we've had like 9 or 10 tornado warnings today. Yeah. And that's rotation in the clouds which is wild because the storm was not real big. No. It was just a dry line.
It was like real like pencil lines of like storms moving across from that. And so, so we didn't go in the storm shelter. But like I said, kind of we were on the topic of it, so we thought it'd be a good time to discuss what we do. You know, in the past, we share videos on different things we do, and a lot of people find it helpful. And you know, if you guys do anything different or want to add to it, please leave a comment and let us know.
We've learned a lot of things.
Yes, for sure, from you guys with our prepping that we do and stuff around the homestead and all kinds of stuff. We've learned a lot from just comments and sharing. So, but we're going to share it with y'all. So Shannon already mentioned the antenna. We put it on the house for the World Series several years ago, but it is come in handy very much.
No, very much.
It's nice to know that you're getting real-time information and you're hearing it from a person. You know, on apps, when you look on there, you don't really get an interpretation other than your interpretation of it. But hearing a meteorologist tell you what to do, it does help make your decisions. So, so that's one thing. I'll start with the house. What we do inside the house first, before like when we're preparing, like if there's a storm coming, then we'll talk about the storm shelter. But first, everybody should have a good flashlight.
Or multiple in your case.
Yes, I love flashlights.
Stop. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You should always have one by your bed no matter what, but I always keep a flashlight with us. even if it's daytime because it's dark down in the storm shelter, and getting down in there and getting situated until we get the lights on in there is good. And then if it's dark, getting from the back porch down to the storm shelter is a good idea. The other thing that we do in the house is this. If we do lose power, this will run our TV. So we can still watch TV. It'll also run a small lamp, charge our phones, all that kind of stuff.
Well, and to back up on the phone situation, we immediately plugged our phones in.
Yeah, to charge them up. So
they were charged and.
So go check out Rock Pals. They sent this to us a while back to review, and we've been really happy with it. Used it a lot. We always, like Shanna said, have the phones charged. Plug those in when things start looking like it's going to get dicey. Always have everybody in the house put their tennis shoes on and clothes, so we're not trying to climb down into the storm shelter with flip flops and and pajamas on and stuff like that.
Our dog leashes.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, dog leashes. So we have 2 dogs, and getting our 90-pound lab, who's not very agile, down into the storm shelter is
bad hips.
Yeah,
and she
it takes all I can do to get her down in there and get her back out. So
she is, but forcefully she's going down there whether she likes it or not.
Yes. Yeah, and then like last we did a video back in we had some tornadoes come through in the fall, and we went and we had silky chicks at the time, and we went and rounded them up and put them in a cooler and brought them in the shop. But that's not an all the time thing. But what else?
Charging our phones. The kids all know. The kids, we had a little bit of time. Easton and Sarah packed a bag.
Yeah.
Of their stuff, so I don't know what was in there. If I had to guess, it's probably like a pocket knife and what?
Easton's behind the camera.
Not even close. I didn't even pack a pocket knife. I packed like blankets, chargers, my stuffed
Hey, why don't you come over here in the camera?
and I brought 2 books just in case.
Oh, he brought books.
Good. So you brought books, and what else? Tell them.
I brought, of course I brought a tortilla blanket, and after we plugged our phone in, and I also got some footage. When I saw everybody pulling their cameras out, I usually pull my camera out and start videoing, and then I had like lotion in there because that was like my daily. But I just grabbed a bag because that was my daily carry bag. Like I carry that bag everywhere. Yeah. So I had like lotion and hand sanitizer.
Okay.
I just shoved stuff in there.
That's funny.
So that's what Easton packed. So what else for preparing inside the house?
I think that's really about it. I mean, we live in a manufactured home, so this thing will go up and be gone. I mean, so as far as like monetary things or materialistic things, I mean, my purse, his wallet.
Yeah, I do grab. Yeah, I always try to grab my wallet. That's a good point. Just so have driver's license and stuff.
I do my purse too, because if something were to happen where we're trapped or whatever, and the land around us is unrecognizable, then they would have some sort of idea of who we are and what our address is and stuff like that. But I think, and just really keeping the kids calm is another thing. Sarah tends to enjoy it. She was out on the porch with Tobin videoing. Reed was riding the 4-wheeler at one point. We had to yell at him because he was we're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and he's out there woohoo on the 4-wheeler, while Easton and I are kind of inside
checking the weather.
We're checking the weather and we're navigating through it. So I think keeping the kids calm, because if we go there, they go there, and so but they do know when we say go, they go, and it's happened before. I mean, we've had to get up in the middle of the night one time, and we've had to.
Those are the worst.
Yeah.
So once we get into the storm shelter, another thing, and this is not like a product placement video, but this was also sent to us. By Sun Life.
It gets stuffy down in there. Yep. There is a vent on the top. It circulates some air, but when you get 5, sometimes 8 people and 2 dogs in there, it does get stuffy. But we have not had the opportunity to use that yet down there.
Correct, not in the
So
storm
it'd be
shelter.
good.
Yeah.
The storm just
Yeah,
stopped
it's
using really hard.
completely battery powered. This is the charger that I zip tied to it so it doesn't get lost. That, like Shannon said, if we have a late spring, early summer tornado, we had some before we had this and had to get down in there, and it was like a sauna.
It was disgusting. It was, believe it or not, warmer or cooler on the outside of the storm shelter than it was on the inside.
Let's drop some. The other thing is, look at this.
Oh my, what is the deal with you and your... That's it. That's how I went. I'm blinded.
Rechargeable.
Can't see anything.
Little lantern from Walmart. This thing has been used several times in there. My mom actually bought this for
We
us.
bought that during Snowmageddon when we lost power.
Used it.
No, we used it, and we used it, and that was the only light we had in the living room.
Yes, yeah, when we lost power all the time. But we used it down in the storm shelter several times too. It comes in really handy. What?
I can't see. What are you showing me?
Another thing that Sun Life sent us when they sent us that fan was this, and we also haven't used this down there yet. But it's a rechargeable hand crank.
Binoculars, see? Just kidding, it's not binoculars. But it does look like it. Why are those there?
Well, one of them's a tuning knob, on and off volume, and then it has a it has all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, is that a light?
Yeah, I was trying to remember. There it is.
What is this?
So that's pretty cool too. And it's solar powered, and then it has the solar thing here, and then oh, look at that. So that would be fun. I mean, we keep these down. I went down there just a minute ago and got this stuff out of the storm shelter. We leave these in the storm shelter. This and the light, and then the fan, and then we have some cases of water down there,
And
snacks and chairs that we keep down there.
Batteries. We also, his mom packed like goodie bags for the kids, like activities and things like that.
Like little toys and stuff.
Yeah, in case they get bored. We have chairs.
Normally, and we don't stay down there very long. Most of the time, I mean, we get down there right before a bad storm's about to hit, and then we're back up out of there before too long. I will tell you a funny story though. You want me to tell my story, my kidney stone story?
This is...
So, I'll make it quick.
That was one of the longest days of my life.
I woke up to go to work, doubled over with the kidney stones. I've had kidney stone problems my whole life. I've had tests done, all kinds of stuff. It's just something I have to live with. And it was a bad one. I was in the hospital, IV in my arm. When we went to the hospital when they checked my blood pressure, they knew I was in a lot of pain. Took me straight back there. IV, what's it called? Morphine.
Mm-hmm.
3 rounds of morphine before they could get the pain to go away. And I have a really high pain tolerance. And they got it to pass with the medicine they gave me. Came home and crashed in bed, and Shannon had to take the kids.
One of the kids that broke their arm or something, and we had to go to the doctor for it.
Yes, which is the pediatric doctor is 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away. So no, they were sick, or I don't know.
No, we were in the X-ray room. That's where we got locked in.
That's right. And so so they're calling me, telling me that there's a tornado coming through.
Because we're under a tornado warning where we're at, and there's a tornado warning where we're at here where we live, and we are locked in our pediatrician's office in their X-ray room.
And it was either spring break or summertime, but
no,
the kids,
it was May. It was right before Mother's Day. I remember.
The kids were out of school, and I had to work that day, and the kids were out of school, and the neighbor kids were home, and they were out of school, and they came. Shannon was trying to call me, and she called me and told me there's a tornado coming, and I just said okay, and I hung the phone up. And I just laid back down and went to sleep. I was like, if I can survive that kidney stone that I had this morning, bring on a tornado. I can handle that.
Goodness.
So I slept through it. The neighbor kids went and got in the storm shelter, rode it out through the air.
They were down there, and there's hardly any reception down there, and I couldn't get in touch with them to tell them it was okay to come out. So I called him and finally yelled. I was like, can you go tell them
that's
they
right.
can come out of the storm shelter?
So I'll put the storm shelter there.
You can come out. And then he went back to bed.
Yeah, the kidney stones at me. This is funny. And we didn't have a tornado touchdown here, but I think it was maybe went just north of here. If that was the one that went north, I don't know, but it was close. I should have been in a storm shelter for sure. So
especially our house is like a,
yeah,
like we'd be gone.
But so that's a recap of what we do. Anything to add?
I mean, this will be the tornado season in Texas. It's,
Yes.
If you live in Texas, you know. I know if y'all live anywhere in Tornado Alley, really,
Yes.
Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, kind of
yeah.
up through Tornado Alley, you guys know it gets dicey. And as I've lived here all my life, and I get nervous and worried and anxious because one or two things: you're either overly prepared or you're not prepared enough, and you don't know, do I overly prepare and go down in the storm shelter? Or one night at 3 o'clock in the morning, we woke up to hail the size of
Like Guy Clark says, hen eggs.
and it was, I mean, it completely, we had $15,000 of damage done to the house. We couldn't get to the storm shelter. We didn't even know the storm was coming, and we had to just sit in the house. So it's like, I've lived here all my life, and I still don't know when is ever going to be a good time. But this will be this way probably until way into June almost. We'll have where these little storms come through, and it could potentially get severe, and you just kind of have to be somewhat prepared.
Maybe people that don't, I guess we assume that everybody knows, but there's probably people that live in other parts of the country or other parts of the world that don't experience tornadoes, or very rarely.
No, I would think like people from maybe California or New York or stuff like that. You know, they're more, California's earthquakes and things like that. They probably have their own, but yeah, I mean, when you live in Texas, and we live in North Texas, closer to Oklahoma, so we tend to get them often.
But there's, I mean, every 4, 5, 6 years, there's one that will completely level a town. Like when we were kids, Wichita Falls happened. I think that was when we were kids in the 80s. Leveled most of Wichita Falls. There was one back in the early 2000s up in, was it Kansas or somewhere? It was like,
bad.
I mean, it just leveled the entire town, and you never know. Like the ones that happened today were small ones that just dropped down and got a few houses here and there, a few buildings, I think, for the most part. But yeah, you never know.
But we just had a tornado, and there was a storm that came through 2 weeks ago, maybe week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. That was a little bit east of us. It was a EF1 tornado, and it touched down briefly, but it just like, I mean, anyways, the point to all of it was like, we try to be prepared as possible with tornadoes. It's my least favorite season. I don't mind a good thunderstorm, but I don't like tornadoes. And these tornadoes were even more dangerous because they were rain wrapped and you couldn't see them. And so the meteorologist said multiple times on the news, the only way you guys are going to know if you hear the sound of it. And that's a pretty scary thing. Well,
and I got another funny story about a tornado. I'm not going to tell it now. Leave it in the comments if you want to hear it. I'll share it on another video. But Shannon and I were in a tornado when we were in high school.
Oh gosh.
And there's a funny side to it, and it's a funny story. Part of it is
it caught you with your pants down.
Now they're really gonna want to know. They're gonna think something bad. I was in the bathroom.
No, I was just I don't come up with funny stuff very often, but that was pretty funny.
But when they say it sounds like a train going over your house, that's exactly what it sounds like. It was crazy scary, tons of damage. Another story for another time. We don't want to take any real time.
Maybe we should just like tell stories of tornado situations, because we seem to find them.
Yeah, we've been in a few.
Okay, hold on. But disclaimer, we know they're very serious. Like if those places in Bowie or Jacksboro that had those today and they need any type of help, we would definitely, we'll certainly, they're not far from us and we would help them.
For sure. No, it's not fun, but you gotta laugh or you'll cry sometimes, so. All right, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Leave in the comments what y'all do to prepare.
Yes, if you have any suggestions. And, I mean, when we tell this story, we'll keep it PG.
There's nothing scandalous about it.
Maybe there is. Maybe you should just tune in and find out.
Yeah, y'all let us know.
I'll tell it on one of my stories on my channel, maybe.
Yeah, Easton said he'll tell y'all on his channel.
If you tell me the story, I'll at least tell it.
I'm not telling it until after I tell it on this channel. I wanted to get out first. All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching.
Shout out my channel. I'm kidding.
Thank y'all for the support. What else?
That's it.
We'll see y'all in the next video.